How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Horror Basement. My name's Shane, and before we get started in this video, as you can see based on my attire, it's once again the holiday season, so we want to wish everybody out there a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. And I'm also going to turn off the sweater because I don't know how much it is blinding you based on how close the camera is to where I'm sitting, so there we go. Now, in the spirit of the holidays, I went looking for a nice Christmas horror movie to share with you, and I found something else. What I found was Ugly Sweater Party from 2018. Now, this horror comedy begins with a multiple murderer by the name of Declan Rains being interrogated by two police in what is described through, Q at the bottom as a police black site. Now, Declan Rains has been brought in to this black site for multiple family murders, which he has committed because he is wearing a possessed ugly sweater. Which, by the way, this is kind of what you think when you picture a Christmas ugly sweater, right? Well, this sweater is actually a hoodie. I didn't notice that until about half an hour into the movie, but yeah, the possessed sweater in question is actually a hoodie. Now, Declan ends up being killed by these two police officers, and we then get a 10-year time skip where we meet the actual main characters of our movie. Two dudes by the name of Jody and Cliff. Now, Jody and Cliff are two college-aged guys. They're roommates. They're trying to get laid, and they're going to this party out in the middle of nowhere where they were invited by two girls they had met on spring break. Now, along the way there, somehow, without it being explained, the ghost of Declan Rains latches on to Cliff, and, a while down the road, they run into the cop from the beginning, who is now a crazy homeless man, who is still in possession of the cursed sweater, and because of the influence of Declan's ghost, Cliff almost beats the man to death with a rock, and then takes possession of this ugly sweater, because Jody had neglected to tell him that the party they were going to with the chicks they're trying to have sex with is an ugly sweater party. So despite the fact that ugly sweater parties are associated with Christmas, and this is ostensibly meant to be a Christmas movie, the ugly sweater party takes place at a Bible camp. So it's not cold. Everyone's wearing specifically, a lot of people are wearing short shorts, and I don't know what area of the country this is meant to be in, but it's very clearly not winter when they're shooting this. And this is where the comedy of the movie begins, because this camp is actually a Christian Bible camp that is run by Mr. and Mrs. Mandix, with the help of a priest named Father Bottoms. So, the jokes they write themselves, and they seemingly did for this movie. Most notably, the character of Mrs. Mandix is played by Felissa Rose, who was the main character in Sleepaway Camp, and also, apparently, looking at her Wikipedia, has over 100 film credits. And this, unfortunately, is one of them. So the movie continues with Cliff killing people to fulfill the prophecy of the sweater, and Jody trying to stop his friend from being possessed and continuing to kill people, with the help of Hannah, a young goth girl who was sent against her will to this Bible camp by her parents. And Hannah, being goth, has psychic powers, which she uses to help Jody try and free Cliff. Now, the comedy in this is what I kind of want to focus on, because the horror elements are nearly non-existent. All of the effects, whether they be blood, creature costumes, weapons, are all done on the most ridiculously shoestring budget. And the film itself is not scary at all. So we'll focus on the comedy aspect. There are basically three types of comedy which is utilized in this movie. You have your gross out comedy with like farting monster tentacles and gross shit looking water getting flung everywhere. And then you have your childish sexual innuendo that you get a good bit from Jodie, who's always trying to get it in with Hannah or the twins that invited them, or, you know. And then the third is gay jokes, because Counselor Mandix, who is the head of the camp, and a bunch of other characters seem to be, you know, in the closet, you know, secretly gay. And this is played for laughs. I don't feel like it's in a mean-spirited way. I feel like the comedy is going off the incongruity of all these characters at this Bible camp being in the closet. But it still came off as kind of a childish and lazy way to write humor. Yeah, overall, I feel like the person that made this movie is a little bit behind the times, because characters say shit like firecrotch and DTF, which is down to fuck, if you haven't ever watched The Jersey Shore. So I looked it up. The fellow that wrote this movie, Aaron Mento, was 36 years old back in 2018 when this movie was released. So about 10 years older than I am now, which kind of makes sense. You know, a guy getting towards middle age, writing these characters that are a good 15 years younger than him. The comedy doesn't come off real well. The one, I do want to praise Felissa Rose, because the one part of this movie that actually got an honest laugh out of me is when Mrs. Mandix is seducing Cliff, and they've went off to have sex, and Felissa Rose for this whole movie is talking in this Long Island grandma accent, and she's laying on the bed, and she tells Cliff to get his nipples hard for her, and then Cliff starts playing with his nips while she continues to like talk dirty to him in that voice. And Felissa Rose just killed it. She's the best part of this movie. But yeah, overall, this movie is super cheap, not scary, and not particularly funny. So go ahead and skip this one. I feel like it wasn't really worth the $3 I paid to rent it on Amazon. So there's tons of better Christmas horror movies out there, and I might have one for you in the next video. So if you want to see that, hit the subscribe button, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.